Hi, welcome to our next episode. So today I have a special guest, and her name is Anna. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here tonight to talk about human design and my business journey and whatever comes up through the conversation. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And first thing is I want to talk about or ask you like who is Anna? And what's your why? What's your life purpose? Because I know you mentioned something before off camera about life purpose. So what is that for you?
Mm. So I feel like I struggled over time to find what that purpose truly was for me. And now I feel really passionate about what it is I do and fulfilled. And I feel like I have so much more freedom in my life now that I have found what feels purposeful. And that's the reason why I actually help other people to find their purpose. And that has been the ultimate journey for me of being able to truly find something that is fulfilling, freeing, and fun. I feel
Mhm.
like they're the three F's that come up when I think about what is kind of like the pillars or their main points which can lead someone towards their purpose. What feels really fun for them, what feels freeing for them, and what is ultimately really fulfilling.
Yeah, so do you mind sharing what that is for you?
So for me, it's helping
Yeah.
people find their purpose.
Oh,
So
okay.
the way that I do that, my
Yeah.
vessel for doing that is through human design and also through a spiritual modality known as Kabbalah.
Okay, yeah. I think my question would be more like how did you come to your own life purpose?
Yeah, so my journey to finding that, I had lots of ups and downs and, trials and tribulations along the way, but I would say the main ones would be back when I was studying at university. There was a period of time that I went through where I was studying my PhD and I was also teaching at university at the time. I had an amazing apartment by the sea and so great job studying. I had an apartment, an amazing partner, all the things. And then there was this one day that I came home and it was kind of like the rug got pulled out from underneath me. And my partner said that he didn't love me anymore. And that then led to a series of events, I guess, from there, where I moved from the town that I was in. I no longer had the job that I had. I was no longer studying at university anymore. And it really led me on this soul seeking journey of who am I and where am I going? And this led me to think about what is it that I am truly passionate about? What is it that feels fun, freeing, fulfilling, those things for me? And this is a self inquiry that I hadn't had before this point, but it's kind of like it got forced upon me. But I feel like for other people, it doesn't necessarily have to be this forced thing. If you can do it by choice, I mean, how empowering would that be? But the way that Kabbalah found its way into what I do, one of the main underpinnings of this set of spiritual teachings is probably the best way to describe it, is that there is always a purpose, there's always a reason, there's always a lesson within anything that is happening within your life. And so, how
Yeah.
can you always be finding and actually seeking out, especially in the challenging times, what is it that I can learn from this? What is it that it's trying to show me? What is it trying to teach me? Because your purpose can actually come out of these micro moments, which generally tend to be the ones that are like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. Why is this in my reality right now? Which tends to be the thing that then becomes your purpose, your reason for being, your thing that puts you on the path of alignment. And I know that you speak about what are those pivotal moments that happen within your life? And I think that's why it's so important looking at those pivotal moments, those times that were so challenging or where the rug got pulled out from underneath you, because it ultimately leads you closer to that path that you're truly meant to be on. So, as we're here having a conversation, what would you say for you was one of those moments that kind of like, either pulled the rug out or was really pivotal for you?
Um, I would say the first one is when I worked on it's called open heart meditation and something with around that. So what that is reconnecting back to your emotions into our body. So that was a huge thing for me, a huge experience. And the other moment was actually finding the going deeper into my soul's purpose. So in my journey, that was only this year actually. So it was like it reminds me I need to share this because people have been asking. So it's like a question. So it's 7 questions and it's called 7 levels deep as to why. So the first question is why do you want this? So what's your whatever your goal is, write that down. And then the next question is why is this important to you? So you keep writing the answers. Why is that important? So you goes all the way 7 levels. And once you get to the seventh level, it's like, wow, that is the deep thing. That is your purpose. So for me, it was stepping into the identity of a light leader. And I mean, I've seen the word around, but I didn't really connect to it on a deeper level. So I didn't really feel aligned. That I thought, okay, I understand what it means, but not really fully embodying, fully accepting it. Or so that was like a new identity that I'd stepped into this year. So it's something that I will actually share. Yeah, reminded me about that. So a lot of people, I've been sharing it, and a lot of people have found it really useful.
Yeah, so I feel like it was just full body goosebumps as you were speaking about going those 7 layers deeper. So I feel like that's a really great tool or exercise people can do
Yes.
to connect more with like what's the why beneath the why beneath the why, like why am I truly doing this?
Yeah, yeah. Because usually the first one is like, oh, I want to make money. I want to start business to help other people. But then once you go deeper, it's something else. So yeah, 100% worth doing.
Yeah, and that then is also a much more powerful fuel as well,
Mm,
because making money or having a business isn't necessarily going to be something that makes you get out of bed every morning. And so this is why one of the, like when I speak about purpose, one of the main things that I talk about is the fulfillment that you get from it.
yeah,
Because, you may make a lot of money doing something, you're not necessarily going to be fulfilled in the
yeah.
process of doing that. Whereas if you're going deeper and deeper into those layers and really finding out, well, what's the why beneath the why, then I feel like you've got this greater source of fuel that can be the difference between you sleeping in until 9 a.m. or getting up at 6 a.m. to work towards that goal, to work towards your dream.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask another thing, a question about human design. Like, what's a common misconception? Like, when people haven't heard about it. Let's say someone is listening to this for the first time. They might have heard a little bit, but what would be something that people think, but then it's not actually what it really is?
Mm. I would say that probably the woo woo side of it, I feel like can switch people off, but it's actually a mix between ancient wisdom, but also modern science as well. And so if you have a look at quantum physics, a lot of the quantum physics principles are actually brought together in human design. And it even goes into genetics and biochemistry and really um, uh, like different areas of modern science. And so I just find it so interesting that there can be this one system that brings together, ancient wisdom when it comes to astrology, the Chinese I Ching, But even, astrology is based off the planets and their position in the sky, and there's a scientific element to that as well. But also the Chinese I Ching and the Hindu chakra system. And there has also obviously been research into the chakras and the energy centers and how that energy interplays within our bodies as well. And Kabbalah is also one of the underpinning ancient wisdom modalities beneath the human design system as well, but then that's mixed together with that modern science too. So I feel like that's really cool to think about, like that there's a modality out there, there's a system which brings together the best of all of these different systems into one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely sounds like a lot going on there. And um, I think I might ask you about like I've heard of the Kabbalah system a little bit. Is that kind of something to do with I'm just imagining it's like a s- I'm thinking of a diagram, like a
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Is that, do you mind
Yeah,
talking a
so when
little
it
bit about
comes
that?
to the human design system, the part that it pulls from Kabbalah are the channels which link together the energy centers. So if
Ah,
you kind of imagine
yeah.
the chakras within
Mm,
your body, the way that they're lined up, the the Kabbalah actually creates the channels which link those energy centers together. So it's kind of like a way for the energy to flow through the energy center, to flow through your chart, to flow through, your body and your being. So yeah, it's quite interesting how it all comes together.
yeah. And I wanted to ask about the you said you like photography, so how is that? Is that an extension of your business, or is that something that you also like, how is that? How does that fit in with your business?
Yeah, so a couple of different things. In a human design sense, I am a projector, and what that means is it's so important to follow my fascinations and the
Hmm.
things that are really lighting me up. And that's the same thing with a generator or a manifesting generator, which make up a large section of the population. It's really about following the things that you love and that you're passionate about. And so that's one side of it. Also, there's another more intricate side of the human design chart, which is called your strongest sense. And this is the
Yeah.
way that you can really tap into your intuitive superpowers.
Mm,
Different people actually have different ways that their intuition speaks to them the most strongly.
yeah.
And for me, it's actually my outer vision and the way that
Oh,
I see things within my
yeah.
reality. And so, a way that I can bring what I see to life is through photography. So, my
Oh,
human
yeah.
design chart, to some extent, helped me to fall into alignment with my path of doing photography. But the other side of it is that I find that the work that I'm doing with human design is really about helping people discover who they truly are, to discover who they are on a soul level, to discover their true purpose, their reason for being, their life purpose. And when it comes to photography, what I focus on is branding photography. And so it's like, how can you bring out that essence of who you are and have that visually represented through photos, through photography. And so that when somebody lands on your page, they're not seeing, a generic image that's been pulled off like Google image search, and they're not seeing, just a selfie that you took when you were down at the beach, but they're seeing, who you authentically are. And so I feel like authenticity is something that really draws the right people towards you, the right people towards your business, your brand, your mission, the things that you value, that they value too, and they can kind of make the connection that yes, this person is for me, or kind of repel the people who aren't for you, based off the imaging and the visuals and the photographs that you're using.
Yeah, and I remember you said earlier about Bali, so you're based in Bali and Adelaide. So what do you do over in Bali?
Yeah, so in Bali recently, I just arrived back from Bali a week ago to Adelaide. So I'm in Adelaide currently. while we were in Bali for the last couple of months, we ran a few retreats, self-discovery retreats while we were over there. And we also did some photo shoots. So I connected with some people from Australia who flew over to Bali and really wanted that tropical kind of feel to their photos, but then also entrepreneurs who were already over in Bali, got some amazing photos of them and brought out their soul essence. And yeah, so it's really the main thing that I'm focusing on within my business is how can you connect someone to their purpose. And when it comes to, say, a retreat, for example, we take people through a series of exercises and experiences, including, sound healing and breath work and meditation and, self-inquiry and journaling, um, and adventures. Like we go exploring and seeing new places and new cultures and meeting new people and going out to dinner and all the fun things as well. But it really gives you that taste of, you know, and diving deeper into who you are on a deeper level, going deeper and deeper and deeper, just like you were speaking about before with going deeper with the why. It's like going deeper into those layers of yourself. Who are you beneath that and beneath that and beneath that?
Yeah. Yeah. I was wanted to ask you, so you've run retreats and you've had experience in that. So what's been the biggest learning for you with running a retreat? Because I'm sure it's a lot that you have to organize. So yeah, what's been the biggest learnings?
Biggest learnings, for someone who is attending a retreat versus someone who wants to run a retreat, the learnings would be different. For someone who wants to attend a retreat, I would say the biggest learning is that you get so much more out of it when you put so much more into it. So if you go through the retreat and you're like, yes, I'm here and I'm open minded and I'm open hearted and I'm here for this full experience, you put 100% in, you get 100% out. Whereas if you're a little bit more hesitant and reserved, and of course, it's fine to be reserved and shy at the start. It's a new place, new environment, new people. But if your intention is not to really open to the experience, then it's not really worth your money to come along because you're not going to be able to take in the full experience that it possibly could be for you. You could actually gain so much more from it. I mean, you put in 10%, you get 10% back out. Put in 100%, you get 100% back out. So that's what I would say from a participant point of view. And then for someone wanting to run a retreat, I would say that, for a lot of people, it can be feeling like you don't know enough, can be the thing that holds somebody back from taking people into an environment like that and teaching them. And so I think it's the understanding that you're always going to be a few steps ahead on your journey in a particular area of life compared to a group of people. It's just like if you think about, you know, the knowledge that you have today about being a light leader versus the knowledge that you had about being a light leader 3 years ago, it's two different things. And so now you're a few steps ahead. And so this is what you can teach to a specific group of people who might want to know, like, how is it that I can become a light leader? So what would you say stepping more into being a light leader? What would you say if somebody else was wanting to step more into that? What is something that they could do?
For me, for myself, it wasn't like seeing it and stepping into it. It was actually making that connection in my even that the questioning. So making that connection also made me make allowed that connection to make sorry, allowed me to make that connection in my brain, like to make that actually make sense for me. So I wouldn't really say that I wouldn't ask someone, oh, this is how you step into the light leader. It's I can say, oh, this is what it means to me, and whatever it means to you, that could be something a little bit different. So there's so many different names. So I think it's up to you to choose whatever aligns with you. So when I connected to that word and like, okay, this is my new identity, I put it everywhere. I started changing my names here and there, and then it really felt good. So I think that that moment was like, yeah, this is who my new identity is. And I know for me it always changes. So I'm open to like stepping into new identities all the time.
And I feel like that's really amazing to have that fluidity to it as well. But also that, there's something that resonated with you. And when you put it all over the internet, then it felt really good because I feel
Mm,
like that's an indicator that it was really in alignment for you to do
yes.
that as well.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah.
it's paying attention to those signs that you get. Um, yeah, it can be so useful on your path to know, oh, am I going on the right path or not? Paying attention to how you feel as you step into
Mm,
things.
yeah. Yeah. So I think I'll ask about your perception of how do you see like the universe? What is your like everyday life and how do you connect to the universe? What is your relationship with maybe you say maybe it's source, maybe it's something else.
Yeah, so I would probably say the universe, or in Kabbalah, they say the creator. Um, I, yeah, sometimes I use that wording. I use different wording at different times, depending on what context it is and what I'm talking about. But I feel like there is kind of, in a human design sense, there is, so you've got your energy type, right? So your energy type is the way that you go out and you make things happen. And then the next part of human design is learning about your strategy. And your
Mm,
strategy is almost like, how does the universe back you up? And how does it present these opportunities for you to pay attention to, that it's kind of like signs from the universe that put you on path, and you have the ability to either take that path or take a different path. And that's where the step 3 comes in, which is your inner authority, which is the way that you uniquely make decisions. And so in human design, we kind of talk about it being this 3-step process. So, like I said, the first step is your energy type, like stepping into the way your energy naturally works. And then, secondly, once you start doing that, the universe backs you up and gives you those opportunities. And then, thirdly, you'll have your own unique way of making decisions based on what the universe has presented to you. And so I feel like I work with it every single day, because every day I'm presented with different people, different opportunities, different decisions to make. And so, and then to add a layer to that, also, I feel like anything that arises within my day, there's always a reason for that, whether it's something good that's happening or whether there is something challenging that's happening. So, I, what's happening within those challenges are those lessons and the learnings, and the the universe trying to show you something that wasn't revealed to you before, so that it can take you closer and closer to true alignment and what your true purpose is.
yeah, I think I did have I think a question came up with regarding numbers because what would be the difference between like if someone is a 4-6, yeah, 4-6 and someone who's a 3-5 because the numbers are kind of linked, right? Three going to four.
Yeah, so
Yeah, because
in human
yeah.
design, there are these things called profiles, and they're actually profile lines, and you'll have 2 profile lines numbered from 1 to 6 within your human design chart. So, like the examples that you gave, you could be a 4-6 or you could be a 3-5 profile. And basically, these profiles are the way, like the how behind your life purpose. So, what is the way that you're here to live out your life purpose? It's not what is my life purpose, it's like, how do I do my life purpose? And so, for example, in my chart, I have a 1 and I have a 4. Now, the 1 is really about investigating and research and studying and getting into like the nitty gritty details and going down rabbit holes. And so when it comes to living out my life purpose, one of the things that I tend to just naturally do anyway is to study things and dive down those rabbit holes. But it's actually so true for me to do that because it's literally within my human design chart. And then the other number that I have is number 4. And so number 4 is really about networks and communities and having a foundation of people around me that make me feel really safe. And that is then part of my how of living out my life purpose. I feel really confident in moving forward with my purpose when I have that foundation of knowledge and I also have that foundation of people around me. And so that's the how between my life purpose. So if you had a 4 and a 6 in your profile, the 4 is again about having that foundation of network and community and people around you that make you feel really great. And then the 6 profile is really about being a role model and sharing from the lessons that you've learned along your life and being able to show people a better way because you've learnt through your experiences what works and what doesn't. So the difference between that 4-6 profile versus a 3-5, someone with a 3 in their profile, they're really about going out there and experimenting. So part of their life purpose will be trying new things, trial and error. Even if you told the person who has a 3 in their profile, don't do that, that doesn't work. Like a 6 is trying to direct them and say, don't do that. Like, I already know it doesn't work. The 3 will be like, oh, well, I'm going to try it for myself and see how I go.
Yeah.
So the 3 is really experimental. And then the 5 is kind of more problem solving energy. And so how can you find a valuable solution for people, something that solves their problems? They tend to be more in that leadership energy, thought leadership. They might have catalyzing opinions and be a little bit outspoken. So there's just a different kind of route towards your life purpose depending on the how behind it. And your how, you'll get some clues to that based on what your profile is and what those numbers are.
Yeah, thank you. That I think it does make more sense because I remember talking to someone about this and I'm like, what's the difference between 3 and 4? Because it feels like both 3 and 4 are like, experimenting and trying new things. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I think we can, I've got one maybe last question would be if people are interested in working with you, where do they find you? Where can they
Yeah,
find out
so
more?
I would recommend Instagram or Facebook, depending on what's, your platform of choice. I hang out in both places. I also have a website, which is AnnaJohnsonHill.com. But sometimes the spelling of that doesn't like help people end up on my site. So sometimes it's easier just to go to my Facebook, which is AnnaJH. So it's quite easy to find. But yes, so they would be the main avenues. And on there, you'll also find free resources and information. And even in my Instagram bio, I think you can click through and there's an audit you can do if you are entrepreneurial. It's called the Soulful Business Audit, and it helps to audit your business based on your human design and soulful principles to make sure that you're doing your business in alignment with your profile and your energy type and how your energy is designed to work.
Yeah, it sounds really useful. Useful resource, and that's for free, isn't it? Is it
Yes,
free?
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. So grateful for this conversation, Anna. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So much fun. And yeah, thank you so much for the amazing work that you're doing and for showcasing so many amazing people and their life experiences and their expertise. So yeah, it's been really interesting looking back through the episodes and looking forward to the ones to come.